Okay, so what the shit is Scarecrow and why is it blowing up right now? I'm Steven, the calculator guy, and today we're talking about a riskier play that has been blowing my mind for the past few weeks. So, I initially ignored Scarecrow because of the ridiculously high APY and my assumption that all coins with high APY, all DEX coins with really high APY eventually trend towards zero. Scarecrow has not done that. So Scarecrow stats, I don't really know how it works, the tokenomics, but they have a max supply of 80,000 Scare. I don't know if that's somehow cycled or circulated, but there's a burning process. I don't know what they're doing. It's some sort of new tokenomics that I'm unfamiliar with. If you know more, if you can link me to something, I'll look at it. But I love what it's been doing for the pools. So two really cool things I want to show you. Aside from the ridiculously high APY, which you can see in the farms, so like Scare Phantom, this is an APR. That's it, 1.8 thousand APR on Scare Phantom. Now usually, I don't like these things because Scare, but if we look at let's look at this chart really quick and just see like the ridiculous price fluctuations that's happening with this thing. Again, usually these things trend towards zero. Scare has been like a roller coaster. Look at this. Look at that. It's amazing. This is the inverse of what you usually see with these DEX tokens. But again, it's a DEX token. In my opinion, these things will inevitably trend towards zero. But because they have a burning mechanism, we will see if Scare can defy all odds. So let me show you a few cool things that they're doing. Look at this. USDC Phantom, 354%. And yes, if you're wondering, can I auto-compound this on Grim or Reaper? The answer is yes, on Grim. So Grim allows you to use Scarecrow and do the auto-compounding with any of these that you want. Scare USDC. Look at that. Look at that. Half stable. Reaper die. Pretty good. Jin Spirit. I don't know what Jin Spirit is, so I can't say anything about that. I've been seeing Sing around. It must be another dex that I'm unfamiliar with. USDC Phantom. This is a good one. Weth Phantom. Look at that. Weth Phantom. Come on. Okay. So it's got good farms. We've established that. Let's look at the pools. This is where things start to get interesting. So the Scare pool, incredibly high APR. Ice pool, incredibly high APR. And I want to show you two strategies, an ICE strategy and a wrap memo strategy. So you have to keep in mind that the deposit fees for all of the non-DEX tokens is 2.4%, which is a pretty hefty percent. But you get it back relatively quickly. I will be right back. My baby is crying. Okay, so the two strategies that I want to talk about are using ICE and wrapped memo and getting rewards from those in Scare. So look at ICE, right? 179% APR. You know where I'm going to go. I'm going to go into my handy dandy APR versus APY calculator. Phantom has very low fees. So let's just say $1,000, base APR 179. You compound every day. Let's say there's like a 20 cent. Let's go 50 cent just to be not conservative, to be liberal with the fees. That's 397% APY, right, on ICE, which is blowing up right now because Danny, I think he's about to relaunch Popsicle. People are super excited about that. He paid back all of everything lost from the hack. His team is big. People are believing in him. He's growing in fame and infamy simultaneously. Really hope that he and Jaws, and Zeus can all kumbaya soon. But anyways, ICE is big. Wrap Memo is big. So both of these are sort of Danny plays. 397% APY, right? That's all going to be in Scare rewards. But you can take those Scare rewards and look what you can do with them. So instead of buying more ICE, you can take your Scare rewards over to this incentivized vault. You can deposit Scare and get ICE, which is a pretty interesting strategy. So what you're doing is you're getting Scare rewards, and if you're bullish on Scare, which some people may be, I don't know how I feel about it yet. Scare has been on a tear upwards with ridiculous APYs and APRs, and that always worries me from a DEX token. It's usually unsustainable. I don't fully understand the burn mechanism. I imagine it has to do with the fees, the 2.4% fee. I imagine some portion of that's getting burned. I've seen things like that before. And every time you're reinvesting, anytime you're compounding, something is getting burned, right? Because what happens when you're compounding is Grim will take the token Scare that you're getting. It will sell it for whatever the LP is, and then it will restake. And in that restake, there's the tiny 2% fee, and part of that I think is getting burned. So, and that's, in some cases, every hour there is a compound. So anyways, the strategy here would be to stake with ICE, or stake with wrapped memo. 2.4% deposit fee. Keep that in mind. It's a big fee. So if you're worried about price plummeting, maybe don't do this strategy. So stake with one of these two. Get your Scare rewards, and instead of selling those Scare and reinvesting them, go to the pools. Go to the incentivized vaults, and then stake your Scare here and earn actual wrapped memo, which I think is just the coolest thing. Now, if you're a total degenerate, and I know most of you aren't, actually, I think my base is pretty level, likes to make smarter investments, so I really appreciate that about you guys. But if you were a total degenerate, which I personally am not, you could buy a bunch of Scare, betting on the bullish price action of Scare and the bullish chart momentum, and then just stake a ton of Scare here with memo and make memo, which, if you remember, is intrinsically gaining 67,000% APY because it's wrapped memo. So every bit of wrapped memo you're getting is intrinsically gaining 67,000% APY. Or you can do it with ICE. You can buy a bunch of Scare, stake it here, hope that the price of Scare goes up, while also receiving 682% APR on ICE. So let's look at that. Right? So if it's 682% APR, then you have to realize that, okay, now it's 667. So then you have to realize that you can take that APR, that near 2% per day, a little less, more than 2% per day on ICE, which is ridiculous considering ICE's price action. Take that over to the pools, stake it into the wrap memo or ICE pool. So it's the reverse of the first strategy. So in the first strategy, we were staking in these pools first, and then taking those Scare rewards and staking them in the incentive vaults. In the second strategy, we're staking in the incentive vaults and taking those rewards and staking them in the pool to get an additional 224% APR on your rewards, or 181%. And these two feed each other. So I hope that you're sort of seeing the strategy. You can also do 50-50 on both of them and just sort of see what you like. The end result of this is, though, that you have something in the incentivized vaults yielding wrapped memo or wrapped ICE, or just ICE, and then you have the wrapped memo and ICE yielding Scarecrow. And you're feeding the incentive vaults with your Scarecrow, and you're feeding the pools with your wrapped memo and ICE. So they're feeding each other and both growing exponentially, which is incredible. So this is a strategy. I don't know how long it's going to last, to be honest. It's the more you invest in Scare, the higher risk the investment is. So keep that in mind, right? High risk, high reward, but also high risk, high chance of, high risk. So that's pretty much it for this. There's a whole bunch of other really nice APRs here. I think there was USDC at 243% APR. So I have done some other stable coin videos, particularly on Anchor, and I'm going to do one on Wrapped Mirror eventually on Nexus. And you'll never see an APR like this on those because those are consistent strategies. And 40% APY on a consistent strategy is absurdly high. These strategies are not consistent, right? With farm plays and pool plays, it's you get in, you sort of get a bunch of the money while providing liquidity for this burgeoning new DEX, and then you get out while the coin is crashing. And if you're able to auto compound, good for you, because you're minimizing your exposure to the DEX coin. So I don't expect this APR to stay up for a very long time. I mean, I believe, yeah, so the liquidity is less than 500,000. Maybe after this video it'll go up substantially. But I mean, Scarecrow is one of the places to be. I'm sort of blowing my own spot here. Hopefully you guys don't tank the APR here. But if you do, you know, that's the price of business. Again, I love what they're doing with incentivized vaults. Being able to earn coins that are high demand by staking a DEX coin is an inspired move that gives the DEX coins genuine utility, in my idea. Okay, in my mind. So that's all. This is, again, this whole thing is a super high risk playing field. So please be smart and safe with this one. There is money to be made, but there's also money to be lost, right? And almost everywhere in decentralized finance, you're playing this like a sport. There are going to be winners and losers. So the first ones out are the winners, the last ones out are the losers. You want to get in, you want to get out, you want to make your money. Auto compounding is generally the safest because you minimize your exposure. You can do that on Grim with Scarecrow. Maximize yields would be the strategy where you stake some portion in the pool, you stake some portion in the incentivized vaults, and you let those two things feed each other, right? That would be the maximized gains. But maximizing gains means you're increasing your risk. If you really are bullish on Scarecrow and you want to really maximize your gains, you would do the Scare, right? Scare APR of 863. But you know, who's that bullish on a DEX coin? Your compounding APY would be, you know, 423,000%. You do you, right? I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to show you opportunities. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. This is my Scarecrow video. I finally did it. Be safe, please. Invest wisely, and have a wonderful rest of your day.